Yeah, with the Radio Sport, it's coming up to 12 minutes away from lunchtime, from 12 noon. Let's just deviate off the path that we were going down to, because we're going to talk about a handball. This interesting story that's come to light this morning about a Tri-Nations handball tournament in Gallipoli, of all places. This is an invitation that's come from Turkey, for New Zealand and Australia, I guess to do with the commemoration of the Anzac forces in Gallipoli, to compete in a three-country handball tournament. Frank Stoltenberg is the coach of the New Zealand team. He's with me now, and I imagine it'll come to a lot of surprise to a lot of people, Frank, that we even play handball in New Zealand. It's a very fine game at the Olympic Games. I hate to admit it, but I've actually even commentated a few games of handball at the Olympics down through the years, and I've always thought this would be a very good sport to get into New Zealand schools, particularly at college level. So tell us a bit about the sport in this country. How many people play it? How many teams you got?
Indeed, Brendan. Good morning. Handball is growing in New Zealand, and it is very much a developing sport. We've got a lot of success at the moment, especially around the Wellington region, growing the sport. We have an inter-school league, which I think is one of the largest leagues running at the moment, and we're just expanding that out into the other cities as well. So it's a really exciting sport for kids to get into, especially if they haven't found their niche in cricket or in rugby. Handball is a full contact sport. It's very fast.
How many play it in New Zealand?
How many people play it in New Zealand? Oh, I think at the moment you're probably looking into the 400 to 600 odd kids.
At schools, basically.
No. Some of those adults still, because we needed to build up our adult players first, so that we had coaches available. So it's been a 5-year plan to have university students and older playing handball, getting a love for it, and then being available to coach the kids. So that's picking up now. So we're still in the hundreds.
If my memory serves me correctly, it's a very popular sport in parts of Europe, particularly Scandinavia. Is that right?
It would be the number one sport. I mean, it's in fact the second most popular sport in the world, if you look at it by participation numbers, because it's a team of 14. So, of course, the only thing that's ahead of it would be football. And, so handball in Scandinavia, Denmark. Denmark is said to be the birthplace of it, although Germany would have the most professional league. Although all the Scandinavian countries are huge. Russia is also a big player. It's unfortunately not so popular in the English-speaking countries.
It's unusual, because I look at it and I think, yes, you can sort of look at it, volleyball, basketball, handball, all kind of sit under the same kind of umbrella indoors on a court with a ball and a goal or a net, and yet the other two have taken off, even here in New Zealand, but handball's never made it.
Well, it's difficult for us, Brendan. We've got a very large court that we need to play handball. It's a 20 by 40 meter court, so you won't fit that on a basketball court.
So it's a lot bigger than a basketball court.
Yeah, a lot bigger, and that's probably the most inhibiting factor in all this, in the growth of it. So unless we take the game outside, which is certainly where it started in Europe as well, we have to make adjustments. We have to get the equipment and the
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I can think of a venue here in Auckland, the old YMCA, which has two basketball courts basically alongside each other, and I know kids go up there and play indoor soccer because it's so big, and I'm sure that would be probably 20 by 40, close to it?
Close to it. Two basketball courts might be just there, but absolutely, and it's time for all those venues to think about handball and get handball going. Then you need the goals and you need the lines. And you need the balls, and on top of that, you need a lot of players, and that takes a bit of work. So you need to find the right people and the right time and energy to do it.
I suppose the problem also then is that you need people to see the game, don't you? I mean, that's the only way you can, I guess, truly recruit people to a new sport, is for them to have a look at the game. And I mean, you're probably not going to get any television coverage here, so somehow or another you've got to get games up where people can go and see them.
It's had a bit of coverage during the Olympics, and usually we get an influx of inquiries about handball at that time. But you're quite right. I mean, if you take a 6-year-old and give him a handball, he's sure as hell it's still going to kick it, thinking it's a soccer ball, or like a mini soccer ball. But if you give a 6-year-old a tennis racket, he's instinctively going to know this is for hitting a little fuzzy ball. So that's the problem. People haven't seen the sport. Quite right. And this is what this Tri-Nations tournament is about. This will be a televised tournament, and it will be the footage will be available live or in a highlight package to any Australian or New Zealand television.
So someone like Sky could pick it up.
Absolutely, and we're just establishing those contacts now. I really hope they do, because it'll be, the games are scheduled over there at a time so that it's a good viewing time in New Zealand. It's like at lunchtime in Turkey. It'll be 8 or 9 p.m. in New Zealand. It'll be a great experience to watch it, even if, because especially it's a once-off, and this is a really proud and honourable moment for us to represent New Zealand in a sport that we're not that familiar with, but the rest of the world is playing, and so it has a lot of that sort of feeling of, you know, going back into battle 95 years on, and we're going to Gallipoli with the Australians, and we're going to make a go of it.
Have we ever played an international handball match before?
Oh, absolutely. We've travelled. We've had a lot of the players that are playing in this senior men's national team have travelled before to Patilla Cup.
And so how do we rate?
Oh, well, we are a developing country, so we're getting there. But the fact is, a lot of the skills that you need in order to play at a highest level is you need to build up from a very early age. And as I mentioned before, a lot of our player base are university students and up, and we're only just starting with the schools now. So I think we will become more internationally competitive once we have kids playing from a very early age on and developing those
Frank,
skills.
I wish you well for your trip to Gallipoli. It is a fantastic sport. When I see it at the Olympic Games, and as I said, I've even called a few matches, not that I probably know much about what I'm talking about, but I've always thought this is a sport that would work in New Zealand. Something just tells me that this is a sport that could cut it in New Zealand. So, look, we've run out of time, Frank, so we'll have to leave it there, but I wish you well, and sure, if it's on Sky, I'll be watching it for sure.
I really encourage people to come have a look on the website and sign up and support us.
What is it? www.handball.net.nz?
Yep, that's at handball.net.nz, and we will look forward to getting people's support behind this team, and also the games will be televised on the website as well.
Okay, so appreciate your time.
Yeah,
thanks, Frank. That is Frank Stoltenberg, the coach of the New Zealand men's handball team, off to Gallipoli for this Anzac commemoration Tri-Nations. You're with Radio Sport.